Very well.
So dry.
But the pipe is just coming up.
Yeah, it's, you know, this way, it's maybe like a foot high.
Oh. Here's the
And
best.
there's always like water.
Driving roads up Uniform Road.
Didn't know we just could do that.
5 and 3.
4,
Okay.
6,
Okay.
nine. We have
And
9.
I'm assuming there's a pump in there,
11.
and that's what keeps it. Okay.
Did I leave my phone in
We
here?
got a quorum.
I think that wouldn't, it's just because of drivers.
So folks, I'm gonna call the meeting to order at
Did you sign?
7:03. We're passing the sign in around for our August 18th meeting, and we're convening at 7:04. Great, welcome everybody. Let's see, let's do quick introductions around the table and then online. I'll start. I'm Alice Green and I chair the Rail Trail. Send it to you.
I'm Rose Borzik and I'm the secretary of the Rail Trail, live in Freeville.
Thank you.
I'm Sue Kelly and task force member. I live in Varna.
Great.
Chris Tasalia Himes, task force member, live in Etna.
Diane Casalia Hines, task force member, live with Princess Casalia Hines in Edna.
Great.
Chip McAlpine, Village of Freeville.
Great,
Steve Winans, Village of Dryden.
great,
And Tim Laverson from the Village of Dryden as well.
great. Welcome. All right, let's do the folks that are with us online. Tony.
Tony Bradshaw, Town of Dryden.
Great. And Gwen.
A town of, or no, Freeville, Gwen Beck, task force member. Hi.
Great.
Yeah.
Jacob.
Hi, I'm Jacob, Dryden class of 2015, doing undergrad in Buffalo right now, and long time interest in the trail.
Great. Thanks for joining us. Todd.
Todd Bittner, task force member, joining you from Atlanta.
Welcome, Todd. And Dan.
Dan Lamb, task force member, town board, deputy supervisor, joining you from McLean.
Oh.
Exciting.
Our hometown, okay. Right, that's great. Let's start off by approving let's see, are there any additions or changes to the agenda? I have one quick addition to the agenda, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but we've received an invitation from the Kiwanis Club of Dryden to participate in another community connections event. And it's scheduled for noon to 2 p.m. on Saturday, September 6th, and it's going to be at Hopshire. Just 2 hours, and there'll be a chance for us to put up a table and show what we do. So I'll be looking for some volunteers to talk to our neighbors at that event. Good. What was the time again? It is noon to 2 p.m. on Saturday, September 6th at Hopshire. Community Connections. Yeah. Sounds like people felt like the one in March was successful and that might be worth it to do that. Good. Okay. Go to approving the July minutes. Any changes, corrections, or additions? Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from July, please show by raising your hand. Great. Looks like unanimous. Thanks, everybody. Great. Okay, so we've got lots of news coming out of the project management committee this month. And first of all, I'm really happy to say out loud what you see on your agenda, which is that the Triad Foundation approved a grant for the work at the NYSEG section, replacing the bridge of $10,000. It's good news and bad news. We asked for $25,000. And we got a very gracious note back from the organizer, for the executive director, Stephanie Parente, whom some of us met on trail tour. a couple of years ago. And she just said, we know we haven't given you all that you asked for, but we had many requests and we can't always do the full funding. So we do have a gap between what we expect to the bridge cost and the funds that we have. Oh, here's Judy, good. And the funds that we have available to pay for it. So I'll open it up to comments and questions about that piece of news.
I'll chime in. One of the things that we had, I mean, we kind of anticipated this, so we thought we could scale the project in a couple different ways. So the $25,000 would have allowed us to to create a trail surface, make it ADA accessible, stone dust, that kind of thing. So that'll just have to come in a forthcoming grant. But for the money that we have in hand, we think we should be able to at least do the bridge part. And the trail is accessible, it's passable. I won't say it's accessible. It's passable as it is now. So, but it's just earthen surface.
Good. So the 10,000 plus the 15,000 plus the DP that Charlie's class gave us, plus the DPW contribution is enough to get the bridge done. It's actually not passable right at the moment. There's a big tree on over it. I don't know if anybody's been there in the last couple of weeks, but there's a huge tree that's down before the washout, past the bolt storage, but before the washout. So somewhere along the line, that'll have to come down, but it's okay for now because we don't necessarily want people in there as they wash out. Yeah, okay, that's good news that your assessment is that we can get the bridge done with the amount that we got from Triad, and I wrote a good thank you note to them. I believe that the final approval is happening this evening. We got the heads up that it was happening, and then the board meets to do the final approval tonight.
Well, when we receive that, then we can reach out to Charlie and let him know. I haven't said anything yet because I wanted it to be formally from their board authorizing it before we shared that news.
Okay, great. The second piece of news is that, as you see, the Department of Transportation's decision was that we do need to rebid for construction on the Route 13 bridge. And I'm wondering, Dan, if you have anything new on that or want to add to that announcement.
Yeah, sure, Alice. So since we've last met, we've had a lot of back and forth with New York State DOT, the Syracuse Regional Office, about the status of the bids that we received back in May, on May 8th. As you all may recall, we had one bid that was within our budget and three bids that were generously outside of our budget, beyond our budget. And the one bid that we wanted to go with had some technical shortcomings that prevented DOT from accepting them, despite about 6 weeks of us pleading with them and documenting why they should, and really showing that, we went over this in our last meeting, that we thought we had pretty good precedents cited in other parts of the state where similar bid projects were allowed to overlook the fact that certain documentation was excluded. But in the end, they sent us a letter on July 30th saying that they are formally rejecting our request to consider the low bidder in the first round, which left us with the option of going with one of the higher bids or petitioning to rebid the project. And about 2 weeks ago, DOT accepted our package. They said we could go ahead and submit to them a package of what a rebid would look like. And that's currently under review. I think we've appealed to them in this package that it should be approved any moment now, so we can put the project back out to bid. It's a little scaled back. We've removed some aspects of some of the utility work and taken on more of that with our DPW in the town. So at the end of the day, I think the bidders will come in a little lower And I was already contacted with another group that, I don't know if they bid in the first time, but they're watching this process. So you never know. We could have just hit a sweet spot where even more people bid and we'll come out even better off. You know me, I'm always the optimist, but at a minimum, the company we wanted to go with will resubmit for this project, and it should be a lower total cost coming out of it. So any day now, DOT will say, go for it. It all looks good. I'm surprised it's taken this long, frankly. I know Ray was away a couple days last week. I think if he would have had this come to his inbox, he would have let me know, but maybe he's still digging out of his inbox.
Actually, he's on vacation for 3 weeks.
3 more. Well, I got an email from him. I could have sworn. I thought that was an indication that he's back, but it must have been about something else, and he just had to respond.
Yeah. Last week, I think he left for 3 weeks. So,
well, I'll check in with Gina, who is monitoring his inbox. She did forward me something that he received about something else, and so I could probably check with her.
Okay, good. Dan, just in terms of timetable, because we know we'll get questions about this, we probably need to give the, once we can reissue the RFP, that's probably a couple of weeks minimum, but that needs to be out there. And then there's a whole process of, we have to go through the whole process again of DOT reapproving it, right?
Yeah.
The bid, whoever we find is the low bidder. So do we have any chance of starting construction this fall? I guess is the question we'll hear.
I don't see why not. I mean, we can award the bid as soon as we, get them in. We can make our determination. I mean, not the same day, but then we'd have to go through a due diligence. But with these long seasons, long summer seasons, the building seasons are a little longer than they used to be, unfortunately.
Okay.
So yes,
Alice,
I remain optimistic on that, Alice.
Okay, great. Todd.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, some of the work that needs to be done is enabling work, like getting the utilities relocated and things like that. And there's no reason that couldn't proceed. And even some of the site preparation. So, yeah, I mean, it clearly it's not going to be done before winter, but certainly elements of it could get started.
Okay, that's great. Good. Okay, any other comments or questions about where we are on the Route 13 bridge? Okay, let's move on. Washout repair is complete in the Fox Bridge section.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
already have, oh, that's great.
Yeah. Instead of an S curve, now it's straight and wide, and you can see and
That's great.
yeah.
I just got a photo from Rick Young today of the fence railings that have
Yeah.
gone in there,
Ooh,
and
nice,
it looked really good to
Yeah.
me. So I had a chance to thank him for getting that work. Once we got the easements, once we got the landowners to say yes, they moved really
They
quickly.
did. Yeah.
And he told me today that he has some stone dust and he'll be able to proceed with that part of it too. So
Is there a chance you can share a picture real quick?
I can.
but
I made a little PowerPoint presentation. If
Oh.
you make me a co-host, I could share some photos from the site
great.
and talk about the work.
Okay, great. I will do.
Todd, can you turn your input volume up? You're really hard to hear.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm far from my computer.
That's better when you're closer.
I don't know. I think it's all the way up.
Here we go. Yes. All right, you're
All right.
cool.
Let me click the right button here. All right, let me know if you can see.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
All
Oh,
right.
this is the culvert going in.
Yeah, so this is the uphill side looking east. And what's not evident is that they elevated the bottom of the little channel that ran through here by about 6 or 7 feet in order to make the amount of fill that was needed here reasonable. And then they put these stone block walls in with redundant culverts that you can see. And they did this without any engineering, just because they know how to build stuff. And it was really impressive that they came up with this. So this is a view of that same uphill side before the railings went in. And then this is part of the reason that it was such a problem. This is the downhill side, and it's such a steep drop off you can't even see the culvert from the top of the trail there. And this is a view of that same spot taken from a little bit further off, and you can see they put some pretty significant riprap down at the bottom in order to manage the erosion. There's the 2 culvert pipes and several courses of a retaining wall. So this is like 100-year fix that they put in here for us, which was just great. And I want to express our gratitude to DPW and their amazing staff for doing this in such a good job, but also really quickly. And then just yesterday they put in railings because it is a steep drop off on both sides. So they put in the railings on both sides there as well. And then I'm working with Rick to get erosion control seeding. They're going to put jute mat down. They're going to seed it with a native plant mix that I'm speccing for them right now to establish kind of like pollinator meadow habitat in this spot as part of the site restoration. And this is all funded by our EPF grant.
Todd, today, today Rick was teasing me that if he didn't get this special seed from you quickly, and there was a big rainstorm, the members of the committee were going to have to be out there with their shovels.
Well, I can't do anything about the rain, but I'm working on getting the seed mix to him. So.
That's good. Thank
Todd?
you. It was wonderful to be able to see those photos of that progress there. Sometimes we talk about things for months and months and months and nothing happens, but now we have something very concrete that improves the trail.
And the stone dust will be the last thing. They'll stone dust it back from the apartment complex where the asphalt trail is, if you will, the little picnic benches, to the FH Fox Bridge.
Boy, that would be great. Now that I'm starting to ride my bike around the trail more, I am realizing how terrible those large stones are that have been put in there. Chip is going, yes, this is not news to me. I mentioned that to Rick today, and I can't wait till we can get more stone dust down. I said, well, maybe you want to pave the whole thing. No, stone dust is good enough.
I don't need pavement, but the large rock is.
Yeah, okay.
Todd, is this the place? Is this where this was fixed? Is that the place where the rail bed was exposed during the flood that caused the Lehigh Valley to give up?
It was one of several.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
And it got fixed in like year 3 by Bruno, but it didn't. It wasn't fixed properly, and so DPW now really put a solid fix in it. And given the grade issues and the erosion that was happening, it really needed something that was robust. And so,
right.
So yeah, that's where we're at now.
Yeah, well, that looks great.
Good. Okay, this kind of ties in with the next item, the New York Parks grant. In this particular way. We had $5,000 towards that work that you just saw. And my suspicion is with the extent of the work that was necessary, we have probably exceeded the $5,000 grant that we had for that. However, Todd and I met with Amanda Anderson and we identified that we had $86,000 left available to spend from the New York State Parks grant. So part of the cost of this repair can now be charged to New York State Parks.
Okay.
Do you want to add anything to that, Todd?
DPW donated the culverts
Yeah.
that went into this, so that was an expense that neither grant had to cover. But otherwise, yes, and it shouldn't be really significant. It's not going to be like half or anything like that, but it's definitely more than $5,000 worth of work. So.
But luckily now we can document for county parks and trails that the grant that came to us in 2024 has finally been spent on what it was intended for. So that's a step forward. Good. Anything else, Todd, that you want to report about the reimbursement on the New York State Parks grant?
On the reimbursement, well, I mean, we're going to be able to use the county grant as match for the state parks grant. And we got the second round of payments back. Amanda confirmed that. And all the costs that we were hoping that we would be reimbursed for, we were reimbursed for, including the most expensive item, which was the user activated crosswalk signals. That was something over $35,000 or something like that we were expecting always was going to get reimbursed, but until you see it from the state, you can't count on any, can't count it. So so that's progressing well. Amanda has all the documentation for future reimbursements and has been tracking our budget. So once we get all the expenses in from Rick for the washout repair, we'll know what the new amount is that remains available to spend down for the EPF grant. It also means that we're going to need to extend it again because the bridge, some of the work, the remainder of the work for the EPF grant is going to be the DPW's work doing the Route 13 to Monkey Run Road trail. And that's not going to be able to happen until the bridge project moves forwards. So we're going to have to get another extension on our EPF grant into 2026. Now that Ray handles that, and he usually does that in November.
Okay, good. So check in with Ray about handling the extension for the DOT grant. Yes.
The extension for the EPF grant.
EFT grant, sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, good. The next item is new phase 3 planning maps. I forwarded them the link for folks, but we should be talking about that in executive session. And because they just came in for folks, Todd's suggestion is that maybe the project management committee could review them first and bring them back to this group with some recommendations. But if people wish, we could have a short executive session just to take a gander at them, kind of an initial overview, looking at them, if we have time and if people wish. What's your pleasure on that, folks?
I would go first.
To take a look at them? Okay.
Are those printouts of the map that you sent around there on the table?
Yes.
The big
Those
copy.
are some printouts that Steve brought into us
There's 3 different pages.
in color. And it's hard to see the detail even now that we have the 3 maps, it still is difficult to really zero in on them about who the property owners are and the specifics of the close places where the trails are rerouted and the different alternatives, but we could give it a try. Okay, so that's just flagging that as something we will customarily from now on, whenever we talk about potential land acquisition, we'll do it in executive session. Good. Okay, so Todd, you asked to put Google Map edits on the agenda.
Sure. This should be really quick. So just reviewing Google Maps the other day, I noticed that there are sections of the Dryden Rail Trail that are still listed on Google Maps as the Jim Shug Trail. And that could be confusing for people not understanding the entire trail system is the Dryden Rail Trail. And so I wanted to encourage people to go onto Google Maps, which I already did, and suggest changes to the name. And the changes, like one of the changes that I made that was accepted was to add the DrydenRailTrail.org website to all the place names that are in Google Maps, like the parking lots. It said Jim Shug Trail parking lot, website, none. And so anyway, those ones look like it's accepted. So people could double check that, make sure that it's listed properly, that it's listed in all the right places. The other changes that I suggested were what we'd agreed to before, which is to call it the Dryden Rail Trail Jim Shug section, or the Jim Shug section of the Dryden Rail Trail. And those are still pending. But the more corrections Google gets, the more likely it is that they'll accept those changes. And I think that would be helpful from a branding standpoint, where there's consistency across those other places that other content owners are in charge of the content.
I can go and do open streets as well and make the edits in there. And usually Apple and Google pulls from that within like a 6-month time period to repopulate their own maps. I mean, Open Streets is open. It's a free account, but you do have to have like edit privileges, and then they do kind of get bought off by some planning commissioner somewhere, but they usually go through.
Great. If you are offering to do that,
Yeah.
Todd.
I mean, I edit stuff all the time.
Okay.
Biking, when it's like, this is a private driveway, I go and change it to a private driveway. So
Oh,
like
that's
that's, I
great.
edit the map so that nobody runs into those things in the
Good.
future.
Good.
Yeah.
Todd, would you be able to send Chip the edits that you made so that we're consistent? Does that make sense?
Let me see. Yeah, let me double check and make sure that Google told me what I said I changed it to. All right, I'll look for that and then I'll send that.
Okay,
Cool.
great, thanks.
So Todd, are you saying we should all get onto the Google and make these same suggestions?
Well, I don't know how it works. The ones that the website suggestions that I made got accepted. The other ones are still pending under review, and I just suspect that if it gets more than one person that is recommending the name change, it's more
Same
likely to
thing.
get
Okay.
That's
approved.
legitimate. You know?
I'm also wondering if you could like claim it, like when I've gone to Google sites, sometimes it'll say, do you own this? So like if I search up, School of Applied Engineering Physics at Cornell, they say, do you own this business? Is there any way like that the Dryden, if you click on the Dryden Rail Trail, is it defined? I guess it isn't defined
Yeah.
as a thing all in one.
I'm not sure how Google's process work, but I know on like Open Streets, like I said, there is an approving body. They're usually like DOT commissioners, land
Okay.
planners. Some edits go through, like you say, I have firsthand knowledge that this is true, this trail move, this road is my driveway, it's not
Yeah.
accessible to the public. And so some of those get approved right away, other ones have to go through an approval process. And then they get rolled out, and then everybody that pulls from Open Streets whether it's Apple, Google, or anybody, Zillow, whatever, that's where they usually get all their data from.
Okay.
If you were able to provide us with, exactly change this to that.
Yeah.
So we're all consistent in what we do, I think that would make it
Yeah.
faster than if somebody says street versus road or,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, if
and
you,
then we could just go in and do it as Joe Q public.
The three pending ones, Alice, I just forwarded to your Gmail account.
the three ones are in an email to me, you're saying?
The three that are still pending,
Okay. So
I
I can
sent to
send
your
it out to
Gmail
everybody.
just now.
Okay. I won't write this second, but I'll do it right after the meeting. Good. Okay. Any other questions about Google Maps? Let's go on to fundraising legislation. Any news about the potential for the town to solicit donations, Dan?
Can you allow me to share my screen?
Certainly. Hold on 1 second. Okay, you're confirmed.
Okay, here we go. All right, I don't, hopefully you guys can see this now.
It's a lot of gray, but
A lot of gray.
gray.
It's too small. Well, what it is, it's New York State General Municipal Law, Chapter 24, Article 2, and Section 6U, which was added in 2020. And this has to do with the New York State's response to the 2018 Tax Cut and Job. And in the event, it was created as a way to allow people to get a tax deduction on their property taxes if they made an unrestricted gift to a municipality. And they could also do it to a county, but that's a different section of the law. So this is what got me thinking that we could do something like this. But I think the key thing is that you might be able to see number 2 there. Such fund may receive unrestricted charitable money and contributions, and the monies in such a fund shall be deposited and secured in a manner provided, blah, 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 blah. Meaning that, people couldn't give for a specific purpose, I think, in the interpretation of this. When I ran this by our town attorney, I said, well, what do you think about doing this for the rail trail? He said, well, you better check with the state comptroller's office. I talked to the state comptroller's office, and they said the person I spoke to said they knew no municipality who had done this, but that I better talk to our town attorney. I was just like, she's like, I'm not saying you can't, but in going back to the governor's presentation on this, when he did a press conference and sent out his spiel on this, I think part of it, when the legislation said incentivize, that municipalities could incentivize contributions, which is what I talked about at our last meeting, I drilled down a little deeper, and the incentive would be a property tax cut. That's how municipalities can incentivize contributions. So that's a wrinkle that I wasn't quite expecting. So I'm thinking that perhaps this will not apply to us. That's my my legislative analysis, that we're not going to offer tax cuts to people who make a contribution to a new Dryden Rail Trail fund. I mean, sorry, we kind of need our precious tax dollars, and we can't offer a tax cut unless it was really minor. I mean, I suppose we could find a way around that. Now, this is like the policy brain kicking in. I suppose we could offer a really minor tax cut and still comply with the law. But our lawyer wasn't crazy about us doing this. I'll just say that, our town attorney.
Okay.
So that's my exercise in this. We could try it. We'd probably get away with it. But I don't know if it's something that would stand up to really close scrutiny.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
for-
Alice, sorry for indulging in this, but I got curious about this and had to do a little more research.
Thank you for doing that extra research, even though it turns out it's not that useful to us.
Yeah. But this is what we got to do. We got to look under every stone for opportunities to move this project forward.
I think that's right. Any questions for Dan about that? Okay, Dan, you
Okay,
can
I'll stop.
share. Thanks. Thanks for looking at that. Okay. Outreach and Communication Committee next. Let's see, anything new from the committee? Beyond the fact that we finally got the welcome signs, the road name signs, and the etiquette signs delivered, printed and delivered to DPW. Todd.
We need a map of where the what etiquette signs will go on what mile markers to give to the DPW. So looking for volunteers.
It could sort of just be random.
Where the etiquette signs are?
Yeah.
Well, the etiquette signs could be random, but the street signs and the welcome signs have to be.
Right.
Really.
Right,
No,
but
the
you look at, but they
etiquette
know what the
signs,
street signs are.
right now, the etiquette signs, Rick had asked if there could be some kind of a direction provided to him. So a map, a description of what signs go on what mile markers. It would be helpful if there was some kind of direction other than just put them on the mile markers.
Do we have a map that indicates where along the trail the different mile marker appear?
I don't think so.
We don't.
I don't think so.
Chip,
Because
is
you
there
know-
anything you?
Yeah, it was something that I was going to try to do.
Okay.
I just have not done it yet, but I can. And then from there, like, where do we wanna, cause you ordered like 3 sets, right?
So
It wasn't every one of them, but it was like every third one or something like that.
we have 21, probably have 21 etiquette signs.
Okay,
3 sets, but I think there are 7 different signs.
right. And then
I
give or
can send
take,
you the PDF if you wanted, if you needed to be reminded of what they
well, give or
were.
take 14 miles times 4 signs, that's 56 mile markers. And we have 21.
Right, but we don't have all of this, we don't.
Right, we don't have all the mile
markers.
markers.
And I don't think we want them at every single mile, I mean, it could be like every 3rd mile marker
Right.
sign or every other mile marker sign.
Yeah,
And also, if we know, like, what we talked about, one particular trouble spot for folks going off into private owners' property. So
that section does not have any mile markers.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
No.
Okay. The Freeville section doesn't have any.
It doesn't have anything other than no cars allowed.
Oh, wait, the Freeville section should be
The-
marked all the way from Purvis Road to the end of the Freeville section. Where
It stops just before the DPW building. So the little section as it goes past Village Hall doesn't have any markers. There's a kiosk, but then the other little section that goes from Factory Union to Canbark doesn't have any signage at all.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
right.
actually a little unclear as to which way you're supposed to go. Do you
That's
stay on the
right, yeah.
road? Do you stay?
Did we put up mile marker signs on that section? Is that officially open yet?
That is the section where we, if I'm.
That's the
I'm-
swamp trail, as the neighbors like to call it.
Is that the section from like town, like Village Hall over to connect with Johnson Road or the
Yeah,
other?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
basically.
Follow Union Street was the decision we made, because originally the plan was to go behind the fire station. But then the fire folks did not want us to do that. and
Yeah.
So
People walk, there's like a line of trees and people do walk that to get to Railroad, but I don't consider that the trail, but that little section that goes from Canbark, my driveway, to Union Street, yeah, there's no signage there at all.
yeah, well, that would be a great place to get some signage, some mile markers and signage. And I think, so DPW did not put in the original mile markers. It was, oh, I think, yes, they did.
No.
Bob Beck and Nancy Kleinrock marked them and then DPW put those in, but we don't, we have neither of them available to do that at the moment. So that kind of map we could use, and that's a good priority, that
Okay.
particular section, yeah. So, do you have a feeling, Todd, do you have a feeling from Rick about when he would like to have the map and guidance about where to install those?
No, he hasn't talked about timeline, but I mean, I told him it was a priority to get the Pinckney Road signs up. So that was the only specific request that I made. And I told him that, you know, some kind of a document providing guidance on the other etiquette signs would be forthcoming. But beyond just what we've talked about, for other places that there's problems, we might want to prioritize and not just do something like every third sign. Like we might consider having some of the signs be closer to the entrances. I know that the Freeville section off of going towards George Road is still a huge problem with all the dog poop bags. So it's like, you know, there should be some intentionality to where some of these things are being placed. So that, but Rick has not, I mean, they'll get it done when we get him a plan. And I'm hoping that they can get started on at least Pinckney Road signage. And I did also tell them that the Varna, or not the Varna, the Mount Pleasant crossing was missing one of the signs.
The what crossing was missing?
The Mount Pleasant Road.
Mount Pleasant, okay, good. Well, Chip, I would work with you on that to get to get that guidance in place sometime in the next.
Yeah, I just haven't had a ton of time, and every time it's come up, I've been like, but I have a few days next week.
Okay,
Yeah,
I could also help out with that.
yeah.
great, Sue, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little three-way committee and we'll get a map to Rick and let's shoot for like getting it done within 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry I can't help. I'm not going to be in town for a long time.
Oh,
I can make maps.
oh yeah, you're our resident map maker, Tony. But I knew you were away. How much you're gonna be gone for a while yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll tap your talent for another task, another map task as time goes on, I'm sure.
Okay. Very good.
Good. Okay, I also put under outreach and communication point just to follow up on the Google listserv. Gwen and Chris have been talking and working on making sure that our Google group listserv gets the folks that sign up entered in. Is there anything new on that?
I don't have anything new. Gwen, do you have anything new?
Susan sent another name that I'll try to enter, and we still have 4, maybe 5 people that need to be invited.
Oh, okay.
We're able to add 5 or 6. So we're a little over halfway through. No, maybe it was more than that. Anyway, we have 4 or 5 remaining to be invited.
Good.
Do you want to go ahead and do those invites?
Well, we were going to
You know
send.
what? I just realized, Gwen, I was gonna send you some wording.
Yeah.
For the invite. The
Yeah.
reason I thought we should compose a kind of very particular wording is that I did an experiment with my husband adding somebody who did not have a Google account. And when that person accepts the invitation, they only get viewing rights. They cannot post to the website, and it isn't clear you know, what is available to them. And it says you could go to this website and then there's nothing on the website. So I think we need to, when we invite people, we need to preview for them what their experience will be if they click the accept one. And I'm
Yeah.
just realizing I never sent you that language.
Oh, you've been pretty busy, but we can get to it
We'll
soon.
work on getting an
Yeah,
indication that's very clear about how to get full privilege. Essentially, it says, if you would like to be able to post to this website, you need to have some Google account. Doesn't necessarily have to be a Gmail, but something, you could use Google Drive, you could have a Google Calendar, but they're not gonna let you post to their product unless you're Google. You have some Google associated account, so we need to make that clear to people what they'll find.
By website, do you mean the Google Groups listserv?
It does not
Yeah.
take you to the Google Group listserv.
So what website are you posting to?
Nothing, nothing happens. You do not get directed to a website that it refers to, so I can't even tell what it would be.
I'm confused. Are we inviting them to this Google Groups listserv or is this related to the DrydenRailTrail.org website?
It's not related to the
Okay.
Dryden Rail Trail website in any way that I
Okay.
know. It says go to this website and then there's
Coming
coming
over
over,
to
but it's not, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the question is if we currently have posts moderated. So nobody can just post
Anyway, right.
anyways, but if they can't even send a message to then have it reviewed,
Right,
then that's the problem.
that is the problem. If they don't have a Google account, they
Right,
don't
so-
have that.
So they're not intentionally posting on a website, they're sending a message. And the message will get posted onto a website if it's accepted by the moderator, right?
That's a good question.
So there's a little work that we have to do to make it clear to non-Google account holders what the process will be. Okay, any more questions about the Google group? I think we're over 375 entries. So that's, we do have a lot of followers, so we want to have it work well. Okay. If there are any more questions about that, let's move on to Trail Stewards and Volunteers Committee. And I have to say that Sue, you were trying to give us a little prompt to get together and we just didn't do it. I'm sorry about that. Since the last, we had the best intentions to launch our recruitment for stewards over the past month, and we just didn't get it together. I for one had households of guests for most of the last month and grandchildren. So
Well, that's important. So
it's okay. What should we do to move forward? Chris, you're kind of the head of this.
I think if somebody's interested in taking the material that we have and sort of draft up some text of.
Yeah, I can do that.
Invitational language.
Yeah, if you wanna send me what you have. And then, because one is, I mean, we kind of talked about it, we haven't finalized what we'll send out as the press release. And you also have, I think, the list of all the places to send the press release to.
Or I don't know if it's necessarily gonna be a press release, but it's just.
Like places like different
Yeah.
community centers and newsletters and little
Okay.
local, the newspaper. I remember at one meeting, we were talking about all the places to send the invitations.
Oh,
Where people who live along the trail would see this in their community, like Etna has a newsletter, Freeville has a newsletter, Varna has a newsletter, and then we talked about, I think maybe, I don't know, Tompkins Weekly or the other little, I don't know if we go to the shopper, but like little different places where people who live along the trail would see that.
I mean, I guess. My thought was initially just do it more online, social media,
Okay.
and then if we don't get a very good. Very much reception, that method,
Yeah,
then we could try to do, other.
okay. So when you're saying social media, do you mean like on the Facebook page or?
On the DrydenRailTrail.org, website as a blog post.
But also to the Google group.
Which is-
That's good.
Yeah,
I think that would be the.
We got
best
three
way.
hundred 75 people
Yeah, I think-
immediately, the word out.
And those are people that have expressed interest already.
Yes,
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
So we.
And then
Good
I've got the draft, like graphic that can go
Right.
along with it. If you
Okay.
want to try to draft up something, we can.
It's just, I think it's. I mean, let's. I think we're so close to just being done.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that last step that we need to take.
Yeah.
One more, Tony, one more ingredient that we want to have in place is before we send out the recruitment, we want to be able to describe the sections. And Tony, just this afternoon, you sent me a map that's includes all the sections, but we ran into a little glitch. But now we have, could you describe what's happening with the a visual of the sections of Trail Steward areas?
Yeah, so we don't have a good satellite map of the whole thing, and I didn't know how to get one. So I screenshotted about 50 shots of satellite images from Google and put them all together. So we've got a complete picture of, not very pretty, I have to say, but with a lot of detail and all the names of roads and everything in it. And I marked on that where all the sections would be. Unfortunately, I ran into, for two of the sections, something happened to the file that it won't allow me to put them in. And I'll fix this. I can fix this probably this week, so I can get a proper map. But actually, Alice, you said, could you put it up just so people can see what we're talking about?
I couldn't open it. I looked at, I was able to see a thumbnail of it when you sent it to me. But just now when I tried to open it out of my email, it said that it could not be opened. I can try it one more time.
Or you can give me access and I can try to do it.
Oh, okay, I'll make you a co-host. We got a lot of co-hosts. Great.
It'll take me a minute because I wasn't ready for this.
While you're doing that, somewhat related, because I just thought about Dryden, the ithacatrails.org and the Dryden Rail Trail that's mapped on that website. The county has a beta version out of the new ithacatrails.org website.
We're really having a hard time hearing you. Todd.
Sorry, folks.
We've got the fan going here too.
Yeah, it's a hotel room. What can I say? Can you hear me now? Is this better? No?
No, not much better.
All right, let me check my audio settings. Go ahead, Tony.
I'm still working on it. I'm having a little trouble finding how to get to it. I haven't done this in a long time.
All right, I turned up my mic.
Yes,
Can you hear
that's
me
better.
now? Okay. All right. So the county is working on an updated version of ithacatrails.org, and the beta version is out, and they're looking for comments on it. I hadn't thought about sending that to you guys to the group. Bob used to handle that kind of thing before, so let me dig up that email and I'll send it out to the Dryden Task Force listserv, and then other folks can look at it. But the thought is maybe, Tony, it might be a useful tool for what you're talking about doing. It already has the trail mapped, and they added back in the satellite image that got stripped out of the last version. You could toggle between the different kinds of base maps, and the aerial images back among the choices, which is nice. So I'll send out the message from Nick Hemhold to the listserv. So if you see any errors or things are glitchy, they don't work or whatever, that's the kind of feedback that they're looking for presently.
I don't know how to do it. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble here. I cannot find a way to show it. I've got a document. I didn't know how to just click on that and share it. Anyway, I've done it. It's got the Google Maps, and I've put a red line for where the whole of Dryden Rail Trail is, and I've put white lines where all the sections are, and they're all numbered 1 through 17. And I will try. What I'll do is I'll send that. I sent it. So Alice, you couldn't open it.
No, no, and I just tried it again and it said we can't open it, but sometimes when there's a gigantic file and I'm also hosting a Zoom meeting, I don't have capacity to open something, so.
What kind of file is it, Tony?
I think I can't remember which one I sent to Alice. I've got a JPEG and a PDF.
Okay.
I'm not going to waste any more of your time because when I hit share, I'd just like to get a list of my files, and then I could do it, but I don't see how to do that.
When I don't have so much, when I don't have so much in memory, I'll call it up and I can share it with the whole group. So that we can comment on it. And then there's that ithacatrails.org draft that will come to us, and that will give us information to sort of compare against. Is that what you're saying, Todd? Good.
People can look to see if there's any issues with the actual website functionality for the Dryden Rail Trail section, and then it might be useful for other mapping purposes. So that's that.
Okay.
Yes.
Like for the stewards. I mean, it might be a convenient way to share information with the stewards.
Okay. With the stewards. Good. Okay, so we want to have that map in place. We realized when we all met that we weren't including the Shug section in what we had sectioned off originally. So Tony volunteered to add that and to divide the Shug section into some additional smaller sections, and that leaves us with 17 total. So we're thinking that we want 1 or 2 or more people to be stewards of each one of those 17 sections. That's the plan. So when we get the recruitment message in place and we identify the spots where we want to post it, starting with our listserv and social media, and when we have the backup of the map of the specific sections that we want to make available to people who are interested to sign up for, we'll be able to move forward. And let's try to do that in the next month, before our next meeting. Now is while the weather's good, while we're young. Good, okay. Let's move on then to Trail Amenities Committee, and I put Marion down for a quick update about the mini forest.
Thank you. I went to a summit on the Northeast mini forests that had 400 people registered. So this mini forest idea was really catching on, and that's just the Northeast. While part of it was a virtual conference, but they had breakout sessions where you could ask questions of experts. So I brought up the issue that the most inexpensive way to plant lots of trees is to get bare root trees from the state and put them in the spring, because they have to go back into the soil more or less before they wake up in the spring. So the challenge is to keep them alive through the summer, because it's hot and it's dry and you've got to water them, sometimes every day if it's raining. So I asked this question, what do we do? And there was a forester who told me about a gel that will hold, what 1 cup of this will hold 5 gallons of water in a sort of a gel that is shovelable. he called it shovelable water.
Hmm.
And so you put that in the planting hole, mixed with compost and fertilizer and whatever else goes into the planting hole. And that will keep the roots hydrated for much longer than just pouring water. So I asked him, well, where have you used it? And he said, well, there were some remote sites where it was really difficult to get water to, and this solved the problem. He had good survival. So I thought about the site that we were looking at by the cement plant, where there is a stream, but it's way down there. So, you know, we could get a pump, I guess, and get water, but watering would be a challenge in that site. So I wanted to just try out an idea with you all that we could start out this fall and cut and paint the stump of the invasive wooden plants that are there, that the non-native plants that we want to get rid of. And you paint them with a herbicide, the plants take into their roots. So you're not spraying it, you're just dabbing the stump of the plant. And this is a technique that I used in New Jersey in the county park, where we were trying to get rid of invasives so that we can plant something else. Then in the spring, we could get some bare root trees, and Todd had recommended red cedar as a tough species. And we could plant, say, you get a packet of 25 for $25. And we could plant them maybe with different concentrations of this gel and see how it works. So it's really kind of a low cost experiment to give it a try. So I wanted to propose that and see what you know.
What is this gel made of?
It's made of some kind of biodegradable potassium acrylate.
Polyacrylate. So they put in diapers.
That's exactly. It was developed by the USDA and it was used in diapers, but the company that makes this agricultural one has made it biodegradable, and they use the potassium instead of sodium so that you're not salting out the plant. And plants like potassium. So and the fact that it's biodegradable within 3 years, by then the plant has developed its own root system and it's set. So with these Miyawaki forests, you have to take good care of them for the first 2 years. And after that, they're pretty much on their own. So it sounds like it might actually change the way that people now plant in the fall, but then you have to get an expensive plant that's grown in a pot to do it. This way, it would be much easier to get 200 plants in the site. So I don't know, want to try it? So what we would do is ask for some volunteers to come out maybe in October, and we could go out and flag the plants that we want to cut and bait to prepare the site. And then in the spring, we could have a planting day when we go out and put 25 plants in spring. So
Marion?
Yeah.
Another possibility, and I don't know if it would be easier or not, would be to use the gel, to plant the bare root plants in the kind of, I think I showed you a little fabric pot alternative that goes right in the ground, so that you could plant in the spring in these little, fabric pots, and have them all in one place where you can water them over the summer. And then dig the holes over the summer, get ready for them, and only plant the ones that survive. Their survival rate would probably be a little higher, and it would be easier to water them.
So create a little nursery for them, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not have to carry water out to the site. I don't know that there's water in that stream. We haven't checked. If there is, it might be all right. But, you know, and I guess we'll, you know, they'll be okay over the fall and winter, but we'll still have to go out there and water them.
They would require some watering, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially a summer like this one.
But
Judy, let's talk a little bit about the structure for the committee. Originally, there was Judy and Marion and Linda Levine and I, who started working on this little subcommittee of the group. And Judy, I'm so glad you're with us, because folks here may not know, but Judy's been dealing with a dual diagnosis of Lyme disease and anaplasmosis.
I'm feeling a lot better, but my energy drains really fast.
Yeah, so it makes complete sense that you're maybe rethinking how much you can devote at this point to heading up this committee that
right.
is doing this work. I'm willing to continue to serve on the committee, and Marion, you've been just kind of de facto leading us on this. And,
yeah.
It might be the point where, Judy, are you willing to continue to meet with the group, but just not take the lead? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. And it seemed to me that Marion had initiated it, and that she's doing research and making plans, and that if she's willing to, you know, sort of lead it, that makes sense to me.
Good, okay. And also, Todd suggested that we enlist and recruited Jean Grace, who's the city forester of Ithaca. And I wrote to her, I haven't heard back from her in maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm hoping that she can join us as well. And Todd, it sounds like you were willing to give us some consultation as needed. Is that
Sure. Yeah, I know Jean was on vacation just last week, so.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm happy to provide recommendations.
Good. Okay. So it sounds like what I'm hearing is a kind of sense of, yes, let's go for it on one of these two methods. And maybe we could try both. Yes, actually.
That's a good experiment. Try half and half.
Yeah. Try both of those ways of doing with the bare roots, because it's not expensive to acquire bare roots. And so those are the kind of details that I think our committee should work on offline. But what I'm hearing from folks here is, yes, let's go ahead and give this a try.
Okay.
Good.
Well, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Good. At some point we may do some fundraising to
Yeah, we need $25.
Yeah.
And then if we decide to do it in little pots, those are really cheap, you know, like $16 for 100. Just soil. We need soil and gel. And
yeah, I think we should try all these things.
Good. Okay.
Because we want these Miyawaki forests in every schoolyard. So
yes.
Good.
So we want to.
So I have some of those little pots. I'd be willing to try to, you know, fill them and water them over the summer with the gel. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I think it sounds good.
Good. Okay. Great. Thank you. So I wanted to just mention next that when the DPW guys went to Gwen and Bob's place, they found that we had enough materials. When we put together what was at DPW with what was at the Beck's place, we had enough materials for 3 benches.
Great. So, that's what we need right now.
Yes. So we had 3 requests, 2 Levine benches and 1 for Art Marchese, and we have enough to fulfill all those wishes. So that's great. And we talked about whether or not to place a big order, and Todd reminded us that our initial order came through the Environmental Protection Fund grant, the state parks grant, and we were able to acquire quite a few of them. But from now on, because we don't have additional funding to spare, we should just do them 1 or 2 at a time as the requests come in, rather than having a stockpile. Any questions or anything to add about that?
Well, that would make sense, because if the price goes up, you know, I think we're charging only as much as the bench actually costs to have. No,
I think the bench was less than the 800.
Okay.
I don't have that number in my head, but
all
I
right,
think
but it makes it,
chose 800, that which was a markup, so that there's
Okay.
actually some fundraising that
okay.
occurs
Alright.
with the benches.
Cornell, I believe, maybe Todd knows how much Cornell charges for a memorial bench. I think it's in the thousands.
I do know how much Cornell charges for benches. It's a lot more than that.
I know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
25 grand.
So
Yeah.
if we even charged 1,000, you know,
But I think, I seem to remember when the Lab Ornithology was putting up benches, they were charging $25,000 for a bench, so.
Mhm.
We're not as big as Cornell.
no, but
The university sets the donation levels.
yeah,
The units don't get to negotiate.
right. But we can set, you know, what's reasonable for having a memorial bench if we want to change the price, change the amount. That's all I'm saying.
I looked up when we established that policy with the $800 per bench, and it was October 18th in 2018. So it's been, 7 years almost since we set that amount. And I think we might perhaps at our next meeting entertain a motion to raise that to $1,000
Or 1,200 even.
or 12. Yeah.
15 is a nice round.
Yeah. Do
Well,
I?
Do I hear?
not to go down a rabbit hole, but if you look up how much time it takes for the DPW to install the bench, the plaque, the bench itself,
Right.
we want to make sure that it actually is creating a net
Yep.
income.
Good idea.
Okay, so maybe just reconsidering, before we set an arbitrary number,
Yeah.
by shouting it around the table, we should actually look at what the expenses associated with it. It's beyond just the cost of the bench. It's really all the installation, the plaque, and then I'm
There's a
going,
lot of communication as well. I mean, with Todd and with Dan and, various people have to go look at it and decide whether it's a good place. And
Well, part of the reason that the expense is more at Cornell is because it includes the future maintenance costs of it.
Right.
And if a tree fell on the Borzik bench, we're gonna be replacing it. And it's at that point in time, you're actually losing money
yeah,
in the scheme of things. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but that's part of
maybe
what's
we could,
expected. with
maybe
maintenance.
we could have the DPW give us a ballpark figure on how much they think it costs to maintain on average, mowing or fixing.
okay,
You put a cement flooring onto the bench?
no, just the posts are sunken circular cement
Okay.
posts, but not a whole floor.
So
weed eating is an issue as well.
Yeah, I was looking at some benches when I was walking on a rail trail in Massachusetts, and they were on a little cement pad. so that there weren't weeds.
Oh, well, we've got a different, we've got a weed problem.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay,
So while we're talking about benches, the two Levine benches, I believe, are all set. Dan got permission from DEC and the game farm to put a bench on the game farm to Stevenson section for the Levines in honor of Buzz Levine. And I think that, and I don't know whether the DPW has any objection to the spot, but the spot, it looks, you know, if the DEC says it's okay, it's probably an okay place for a bench.
Yeah, all we're waiting on is to have Rick,
Okay,
the DPW, mark the spots
okay,
to be double sure that they're exactly the right locations before they proceed. And
okay,
when they're marked, then Linda and her family can go out and
okay, good.
review them.
But they have all the information they need now, I think.
Yes.
Okay, good.
great. Okay.
All right.
And thank you to-
And then
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know the progress of the Borzick bench in honor of Art. But I
Yeah,
think,
I met with Chris Clausen. He took me out on the trail. He actually drove me in that red truck somebody had mentioned this before. We drove down the trail and he showed me a couple of the other benches. And I spotted the site for him.
Oh, good. And DPW knows because Chris, yes.
okay,
Good. Okay. So
so
DPW
you're all set with that,
good.
are you?
Yes,
Okay, good.
as far as I know.
Okay, good.
Good. So DPW is in the process of knowing and installing 3 more memorial benches. So that's great and has the materials for them.
Plenty
So-
of places to sit and look.
Just a quick other question. I got a note from Evan Kurtz today wondering if DPW has responded to their request and approved the placement for the peace pole. Do you know, Todd?
I put that in Rick's court. I sent him all the information.
I'll
So
check. Is it
I
okay?
haven't. There's several of those review things that are still in his queue at the moment.
Okay. Good. Okay.
I can resend the email to him after we get off
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
and ask him to respond.
Okay. Okay. They're just wondering when they can move ahead, so that would be
Right.
great. Okay, thank you. Good. And let's see, request for bathroom at Freeville Village. I sent a note to Adam Engst from the Finger Lakes Runners Club asking what would be the protocol for our requesting another grant for a reinstallation of a porta potty at that site. And I haven't heard back from him. So I think we want to ask Finger Lakes Runners first because they were willing to provide that for us. And then if they say, well, that was a one shot, then we could look at some other options.
Do you know the cost of doing that?
I don't remember the cost for doing that. I think we heard. But Finger Lakes Runners Club does make those grants available to do that. I just don't know what the circumstances, whether it was a 1 year or they'd extend it or
Yeah,
what.
I'm just thinking that the time is running, running away from us for
This season.
for doing that. So if there's, another alternative for that, depending on the cost.
Yeah, we could cost out what would it take to take us like through November? And
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it anymore.
Yeah, I can take that on.
Okay,
I would do
great. Okay, good. Thank you. That moves us along and Kathy from Toads will be happy
Yes.
to have a little.
When I go for
progress.
an ice cream cone, I always have this feeling of guilt. Like, it's like, oh, we haven't given her a toilet yet.
You also want to prepare for next year as part of this searching it out for the remains of this year, thinking about
Yeah.
like getting a head started next year, so we could also tell it, and by the way, it'll be there on
Yeah.
March 31st or whatever.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, I've left a space for announcements on the agenda. Does anybody have any announcement that they want to share with us? No, okay. Last month we were saying that the ethicatrails.org website is moving along, and we're not really sure when that's going to be up and live still, but it's a work in progress. Okay, so there are no further items on the agenda. But we do have an opportunity to do a discussion about alternatives provided by Erdman Anthony, which involve land acquisition. So Chris, you're our helper with the protocol. We need to
Okay.
we need to have a vote on we need to vote to go into executive session.
Yep.
And we need to state that there will be no decisions. It is for the purpose of discussing land acquisition, the executive session, but we do not expect to take any decisions in that session. And we will reconvene to to adjourn the public part of the meeting after. Okay, so all in favor of what I just said. Moving into executive session. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Megan.
Okay.
Oh, are we inviting anybody to stay with us?
And then the second thing we want to do is we have the option of inviting people, and I move that we invite Chip to join us. So all in favor? Yes.
We want to bike home when it's really dark. Yeah.
I'm already there.
Good, okay. So at this point, I will stop recording this meeting. And then I will share, I was able to open the options, and we'll just give kind of an overview of the options that we did receive. I don't expect a long discussion about this, but at least it'll get people oriented. Okay, so I'm gonna stop recording.